Okay, everybody, welcome to Viva-Mundo's webinar. Today, we are actually heading to Germany. We are introducing the International School of Bremen. We have the lovely Jamie Perfect to give us a great presentation today. Before we get started, I would like to get you into the specifics of Viva-Mundo and what we do as a company. So we at Viva-Mundo are here to assist students with information, details required for traveling abroad, destinations, degrees, application details, and lifestyle tips. So, if you are looking for destinations and studying abroad, this is the perfect webinar for you. Everything you need to get you on to your next chapter in life. So I just want to orient you on how to use Zoom. Please, if you could just use the Q&A feature at the bottom to ask any questions. Feel free to ask any questions throughout this webinar, of course. It's no problem, that nothing is off the cards, which is great. But other than that, I think we are good to go. We're also registering and streaming live on Facebook at the moment. So if you are on Facebook, hello to everybody on Facebook. But from me, that is all at the moment. I will hand the floor over to you, Jamie.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Germany and welcome to Bremen, even virtually. Welcome to those on Facebook. What I hope to do in the next 45 minutes or so is give you an introduction to the International School of Bremen, where we are, what we are, why you should come to study in Germany, what we offer, and just hopefully get you interested in studying over here in Germany. So welcome. This is the standard slide we use when we're talking to teachers, recruiting, etc. We think we're one of the best schools in Bremen and possibly Germany, although some of my other international colleagues may disagree with me there. We're a happy school. We're very much about enjoying the education, trying to make the education as interesting and engaging as possible. We do, and I'll talk a lot more about this later on, we do perform above our international averages, especially for the International Baccalaureate Diploma program, which is what I hope you guys are interested in coming to study with us, if you were to come. We do have small classes. Our average class size is 16, even at the IB end. And we have great facilities, again, which I'll talk about more as we go through the talk. We are an academic school, but we're very creative as well. Arts, performing arts are also very, very big in the school, and you'll see that as we go through the presentation. Our biggest recommendation or recruitment at the moment is through word of mouth. We do have parents who absolutely love the school. They say it's a family atmosphere and a great place to study in that way. And the most frequent recommendation we have is other students saying what a great place it is. So where exactly are we? We are in northwest Germany, as you can see on the map. We're about an hour from Hamburg, which is the second biggest city in Germany, and a major port, and the one place most people know. If you say Bremen, they're not quite sure where it is. Just so you know, connection-wise, we're only an hour away from Hanover, another major city. We're about 3-4 hours travel from Berlin. And as you can see on the map, just over the border, we are an hour to 2 hour drive, and you are in the Netherlands. So we're very, very centrally located for the whole of Northern Europe. Denmark is only 2 to 3 hours away. So there is a huge opportunity, and linked to that is a huge opportunity of study and progression. As I'll say later in the talk, we are linked to Jacobs University in Bremen, which is a private university. We are situated on the Bremen University, the state university campus. And also we do have a lot of ties to universities in the Netherlands who all lecture in English if you were looking for the next stage in your education. Where are we? This is the actual building. It's called the White Building. It's only been open, the school has been around 22 years, and the White Building that you see in the picture has been open 9 years. 2011 we opened in this building, which is purpose built for the school. Fantastic facilities, and as I said, we've got extra facilities which I'll talk about as we go through the presentation, which we share with the University of Bremen. So I am going to just come out and play a video for you. So that's the school video. As you can see, we are an all-through school. We have students from the age of 3 through to the age of, we've actually currently got one that's 20 studying in the IB Diploma. We do have amazing facilities. You can see the creative side, the art, and etc. through that. That's the general video for the school, which is on our website. So what are we about? As you saw through this video, we have some key words coming up. Our 4 key pillars, as we say, are we're about belonging, succeeding, being creative, and inquiring. We do have fantastic science facilities and great links with the university. We have as you saw, great art department, very open air studio where students can get out and paint and do it. We're succeeding with, we have a fantastic graduation which happens in the UNESCO World Heritage Site Rathaus, the town hall in Bremen, and we're now developing the belonging side, which is the boarding, and I'll talk more about that as we go through. So we do have an early learning department, we do have a kindergarten, so we have little ones on site. We have an elementary department, which is our primary school, where we study the international primary curriculum. We then move into our middle years program, which is grade 6 and 7, where they study the international middle years curriculum. And then we get into the real business end of the examinations and the secondary, which is our IGCSE. We do the international GCSE. And then these students would come and join where we hope you would join, which is with the International Baccalaureate program. Our aim is to recruit people and increase our diversity. We are a very diverse school. We've currently got 50+ nationalities on site. We do have around 35% of our students are German, but according to the local laws in Bremen, we do have to prove that they have an international background. So all of our students have international background. Where do we perform? Our 15-year-olds or our grade 10s, as you can see, we perform above international averages for PISA. We also outperform the local schools in Bremen, Germany, and Bayern, which is the highest performing area in Germany. So leading up to the International Baccalaureate program, we are up there and if not performing way above international averages. So the academics are important to us. Here's some of the headlines from last year. Our 64% of our students got what's called the MSA, which is the German high school diploma, compared to the local area, which was 42%. The average grade for our IGCSE is a C+, and 64% of them included 5 international GCSEs, Maths, English and German, C or above. Moving on to the business end, which is the International Diploma Programme. The average diploma point score in ISB is 33. As you can see, the international average is 29. We consistently perform 4 to 5.6 points above it, up to 35, and the lowest we've ever had is 33, which is there. Some years we have had an average of 38. The average subject score is basically a 5. If you know the IB, the International Baccalaureate Programme, it's graded 1 to 7, with 7 being the highest. And the average for our students is a 5, so 2 up the top score. We do have students that come out, you can score between 0 and 45 points. We had 2 students last year that scored 40 plus points, which will be a grade that would get you into the top universities here in Germany, or even the top universities in the world, such as Cambridge, Oxford, or Harvard. We do have students who go all over the world to study. Last year we had about a quarter go to German universities, a quarter go to Dutch or the Netherlands, as I said, because they lecture in English. We've got students who went to England, the USA, Australia, and New Zealand universities last year. We are a non-selective school, so I know in the questions I saw before this, there were some questions about, do we have entry requirements? Our only entry requirement is that we would do an interview, and the level of English we would assess in the interview. As long as you can access the learning and the materials available for the learning, textbooks, etc., and your English is of a reasonable standard, we will accept you. We are a non-selective. There is no entry exam or anything to test you. We are very, very keen on supporting those at the top end and with gifted and talented students, and we also support those with the SEN. As you can see, our pass rate for a non-selective school, which we're probably the proudest of, is 91% on average get the IB diploma on their first try, which for a school that doesn't actually select or stream or look for very intelligent children, we don't have those requirements. I do feel that is the thing as a director I am proudest about, that we do get 90% through the IB diploma with a 24 points, the full diploma, and all the other criteria that goes with it. This video, I haven't got the original, so I can't actually play it, so I will just talk you through it. But I've said we're about the academic, but we're also about the creative. The absolute foundation for us is that we create students that are well-rounded, that will go out into be the industry and leaders of the world in the future. These 2 girls are currently in our grade 11. We took place in a hackathon in Bremen, which was against 25 other teams. The only school team in there was from International School of Bremen. There was 5 university teams, and the other 19 teams were from industry. They were basically had 48 hours to solve a real world problem that they were given when they arrived. Our students invented in that 48-hour period a intelligent snack box that would basically sense when you picked up a snack and charge it automatically to an account. So they had to build it, program it, and do everything in the 48-hour period. They then had to do a sales pitch, which is what the 2 girls are doing. All I can say is it was a very proud moment, because basically they were so good that they won the schools prize, obviously being the only team. But for the first time ever, the judges decided to award them the prize that was for the adult team. And they actually won a €2,000 prize for their presentation. The presentation told a story, it was eloquent, it was by far the best of the presentations, including adults who do this for a living. And the two girls were just so confident and so brilliant with their sales pitch that the judges felt that they had to award the prize. So the team of 5 of them won a €2,000 prize, which they were obviously very happy about. And yes, we did let them keep the money. So we're very, very much about the developing the whole child and developing a creative and children who can go out there and be successful in industry. This is probably a good chance. We developed this through our MINT program, which is the German equivalent of STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is strong in the school. We are a gold MINT or STEM school, which is the highest level you can have in Germany. And we are the only international school in Germany that has that award. This is because we have such fantastic links to Bremen University, which is literally just outside the window of my office here. We have connections with the marine biology department. We have a big link with the environmental department, and we also have a link now with the physics and space department, because as I'll come on and say later, Bremen is the space capital or space center of Europe. We do no end of projects. Literally just outside my window, I can see what's called the Drop Tower, which is a 365-meter tower, which when you drop something in it creates zero gravity conditions. So they can do microgravity experiments for parts for satellites and experiments which basically will then be transferred into the satellite industry in Bremen. It's the only one in Europe, and I think there's only 3 or 4 in the world. And our students, grade 10 and above, do get to go there. They get to use that facility, and they get to do some real world experimentation with that. Linked to that as well, we also do something called the Jugendforscht, which is a German-wide science competition, and our students compete in teams in that, and we regularly have students from grade 6 through to grade 12 who win the gold or silver medals in that, where you have to basically do a piece of scientific research again that is innovative and new, and you then have to present that in a first regional, then a Bremen-wide competition, and then if you are successful in a German-wide competition. Our students regularly compete in that, and as I said, get gold or silver. So the first huge link we have with the university is with their science departments. There are 12 buildings around us that are all science and technology based, and we have links and have done projects with all of them. So if you are looking for a scientific line of study, we are a very, very good place to come. I said we're about the creative. You saw in the video, you saw the arts department. The arts department is one of our strongest departments. We also do school productions and have a strong drama department. The 2 of the people you can see on the screen are a grade 12 boy and a grade 11 girl who took the starring roles in Guys and Dolls last year. This year we were all set to do Fiddler on the Roof, but unfortunately due to the current virus situation, we have had to postpone it. We are hoping that we'll run it in the autumn term, because the students and staff have put in so much time to rehearsals and that we feel it would be unfair not to do it. So there is a huge extracurricular program as well, which I will talk about now. So extracurricular, we do the world-renowned Duke of Edinburgh award, where you can basically plan an expedition, go out, do the expedition, and then come back and do a report on it. There are 3 levels: bronze, silver, gold, and the gold level and the silver level we're successful at, and the students go off to the Harz Mountains, which are roughly about a 3-hour drive away from Bremen. Bremen itself is very flat, so if you're worried about walking, you're fine here. You can plan an expedition on bikes, boats, canoes, etc. We have computing clubs, we have programming clubs, We have various sports. We've got our own purpose-built gym on site, both fitness gym and sports hall. We have on the other side of the school, we have a direct link into the university sports facilities, which includes a running track, astro pitches, beach volleyball courts, which we use regularly. That is all available to the students, and literally the other side of that is where our new boarding house will be, that I'll talk about when we get onto that section. So within a 5-minute walk of the boarding house and the school, you have got fantastic sports facilities, including an Olympic-sized swimming pool, which we have access to. We also are an international school, so we support languages. We do 4 or 5 languages in the curriculum: English, German, French, Spanish. It's after school clubs as well. We do Arabic, Farsi, Chinese, Russian, Spanish, Japanese, and that is available. We also have a Dutch school if you wanted to learn Dutch. So we do celebrate languages, and languages are there on the IB program as well. If you can take your English as your own language as a self-taught subject, and we support that through. I've already talked about the science links, the Jugendforsch, and that. We have maths competitions. We had students this year unfortunately again, due to the virus didn't get there, due to go to Vienna and Copenhagen to take part in maths and chess competitions. We do have a field trip every year for physics. It goes to Geneva and goes to CERN and goes to the Large Hadron Collider. So there is a fantastic opportunity for extracurricular activities. As well as that, Bremen is a medium-sized city in Germany. So there are loads of sports clubs and clubs which we can put you in contact with if you have a particular interest. The other thing we should mention as well, the school has got a very strong connection with horse riding, especially 3-day eventing and show jumping. If you're interested in that, North Germany and Bremen itself is very much a centre for show jumping and 3-day eventing in Germany. The German national team are based here. We do have a family who have won gold medals at the Olympics on it, based in the school. And we have a lot of students. We currently have 2 Italians and 2 Japanese students who are over here, and because they want to compete and they are riding, so they've come to study here so that they can keep up a high level of international competition in riding. So on to the where we hope you would like to come and join us. We are looking this year, it's a new project for us, and now obviously we have to be honest and say that we were not expecting to try and open a boarding house. We had everything planned during a pandemic and the coronavirus. That certainly has been a challenge for us. Our intention is still to open. We do realise there are huge challenges around getting visas, travel at the moment. Our plan was to open in August 2020. But what we have discussed with teachers and the local authorities is actually we may delay that for 1 or 2 months and open either in September or October. And then during the Easter holidays next year, we would put on catch-up lessons for those students that arrived late. So if you are interested in coming to study for the world-renowned International Baccalaureate program, then we are hoping to still be open for business. We can't promise, we can't guarantee, because it is obviously going to be dependent on visas, travel, and we realise that is a huge challenge at the moment. If we can't open this year, then we will definitely open in 2021. The building we've got is a 10-minute walk from the school. As you can see on the slide, these are our current students modelling what it looks like. They are all single rooms. We have got a whole floor which is secure just for us in a purpose-built university accommodation. We eventually will take over the top 2 floors, is our plan of this building. The bottom 3 floors will be students who are studying at Bremen University. It is a 5-minute walk from a tram stop, which goes into central Bremen, and I'll talk to you that after I've shown you the next video, which sort of explains a bit about the boarding and Bremen. So I will now just swap screens again. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, so that is our latest video promoting the boarding house. As you can see, it is a brand new facility. The rooms have never been used. The students we have would be the first ones in there. And you've also had a chance to have a look around Bremen City. As you can see, it's a beautiful city in North Germany. The video was filmed in January, so it was cold, but the weather was clear. We do have rain. I do have to say, coming from England myself, that it's very similar weather conditions, but probably less rain than we have in England. Just to talk you through some of the things you saw there. You saw the trams. We are on the 6th tram line. 5 minutes from the boarding house is one of the stops on the tram line. It goes from the university in the north through to the main station and then through to the airport. Bremen has got its own airport, which you saw in the video. So we are directly linked to every major travel centre by just getting on one tram. You can get through the whole city and go to the major places you would need to if you need to travel. As I've said before, we are only an hour away from some of the major cities. We're 3 hours away from Amsterdam and 4 hours away from Berlin. So there is some major cities and major places you can visit very easily from this area if you want to explore Northern Europe. The other thing you saw was the ESA, which is the European Space Agency headquarters, which is in Bremen. As I said, Bremen is the space capital of Europe. You saw Siemens building, which is a huge green energy center, which is based on the university campus or the wider technology park that we are on. There is also OHB, which is a satellite builders and one of the companies that helped build the Ariane rockets that launch the satellites for the European space program. We also have many families and have good links with Airbus, who are also a satellite building and space company based in Bremen. We do have links. We have 7 partner companies, which we work very, very closely with, who will give internships to as well. So there is a chance to get some work experience. Just going to go back to the presentation. So what else is Bremen famous for? It's most famous for the starred musicians, which is the Bremen Musicians, which is a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. They didn't actually ever quite make it to Bremen, but they are the symbol of Bremen as well as the key, which you can see there. We are the home of Beck's Brewery. And again, we do have connections to the Beck's company and some families from that company coming here. As I've said, it's the Space Center of Europe. That's the Ariane space rocket, which launches satellites in. Most of the parts and most of that is built and assembled in Bremen. You can see people on bikes. Bremen is very flat. You can cycle anywhere. It is the 3rd most safe cycle city in Europe after Amsterdam and Copenhagen. We have cycle paths going everywhere. You can cycle from one end of the city to the other without having to go on a main road. There are fantastic routes 5 minutes out into the countryside around the dikes and the natural area as well. You can see the Bremen city centre there. There is the Rathaus and the Dom, the cathedral and the town hall. The Rathaus, or the town hall, is a UNESCO heritage site, which is where we hold the graduation for our grade 12s from the International Diploma. The other picture you can see there, which we hope will happen again this year, is the Weihnachtsmarkt, or the winter market, and the Christmas markets, which Germany is famous for. And again, Bremen has a very famous Christmas market. So there is events and exciting things going on in Bremen all the time. The picture, you may recognize it if you're a football fan, is the Werder Bremen. Werder Bremen are in the Bundesliga 1 at the moment. They play European football. We again do have a partnership with Werder Bremen Football Club. We currently have 3 Chinese, 1 Japanese and 1 Bratislavan boys who are on Werder's books and training with them, and they will hopefully have a chance to go and play for the first team, or at least be spotted by another club. I'm told that Werder's youth program is one of the best in Europe. So again, if you're interested either as a fan or as a player in soccer, we do have a very strong link there. And the bottom picture is Schnorr, which is the old fishing village in Bremen, which is a very quaint, small, windy streets with lots of boutique shops. So it is a very historic and very beautiful city. Finally, what are we aiming for? Well, we are aiming for you to graduate with an IB diploma. As you can see, there's the picture there of the Rathaus, which is where the graduation ceremony takes place. There are various people there celebrating the graduation. There's the class from last year and the class previous to them. We do hold dinner for the graduation in the Park Hotel, which is where you can see them celebrating with a fountain behind them. We are very, very successful in getting people through the IB, and many of those have gone on to university all around the world. So that's me, I've finished. Thank you for listening and any questions. And I believe there are some Q&As that have come in.
Yes, Jamie, I can see some come through just now. I'll begin the Q&A questions for you. So one question that we have to start off, are there any English requirements, or can I improve my English on campus?
We do have a requirement that basically you are fluent both in reading and writing in English, because the examinations are in those languages. We do have English support, and we do have English lessons that you would be able to take while you are here. So yes, you can improve your English. We don't have an entry English exam, but we would require you to have a online, obviously, because you're all over the world, to have an online interview with myself and the head of secondary school, and we would assess your fluency in English. We do have an English support department, and we do have extra English lessons that take place in the school. So yes, you could improve your English, but we would expect a pretty good knowledge of English to start with, so that you can access the materials for the International Baccalaureate program.
Okay, great. Does the school offer any psychological support for the students who may need it?
We have a university counsellor on site. The idea is we have got, in the UK, we call them house parents, but the supervisors for the boarding house are all, because of the German requirements for who we can employ for that, they all have either social work or psychology backgrounds. So in the boarding house itself, there will be, the people supervising the boarding house will be psychology trained and have counselling skills, etc., etc. And we are intending that they will do some hours in the school and be available for that. So yes, there are counselling services available, but the main one will be through the boarding house itself. You will have someone living on site who will be able to help you 24/7, and we are making sure that there is always a German speaker available if you needed someone to take you wherever and basically help you with the doctors or whatever. So yes, there will be.
Okay. Another question. Will the visa procedure change for English passport holders because of Brexit, and do you help with any visa applications?
We do support with the visa applications. Generally, we would expect you, you have to apply for it yourself. We will produce all the letters and all the requirements, and obviously we know what the Germans system requires for visas, so we would be able to supply you with all the paperwork you need to make it as painless and easy as possible. Basically, you would need to go along to the local German consulate, and you would need to lost my words. You would need to take the paperwork with you, but usually they are, depending on the country of origin, they are issued fairly quickly. I mean, there are, for example, I said we've got Japanese students. You don't need a visa to study from Japan. If you're coming from America, you can just arrive, and then we would take you to the various authorities and register you. From Brazil as well, you don't currently need a visa to come and study, but you would need to register once you are here as a resident. Linked to the Brexit question, very good question. The honest answer to that is I don't think I have any idea, and I'll be honest, I don't think the British government have any idea at the moment. The negotiations are ongoing, and we still don't know whether there's going to be a deal or a no deal. If there is a deal, we imagine things will be pretty easy still to come to study in Europe. If there is no deal, it could be complicated, but I'm sure we'll be able to get through it because we're experienced in bringing students from all over the world to us anyway. So I'm imagining the process will not be any harder than if you were coming from Colombia, Mexico, or wherever, so China, etc. So we will monitor the situation, and we will keep ourselves. We do have an ex-parent of the school is the British consulate over here, so we do have close ties with the British consulate on that as well, and we're constantly in a dialogue with them on what's happening and what's changing.
Okay, and actually that brings me on to another question. Where do most international students come from?
Good question. We're fairly evenly split. As I said, about 35% are from Germany, but they all have an international connection, i.e. parents have got a business, international business, parents have been internationally educated themselves, or one of the parents doesn't hold a German passport. So we do have that. Next biggest intake is British. Next biggest is the US. Next biggest is Nigerian, and we also then have a splattering of French, Spanish, other Europeans, and we're probably talking around 10% of the population for those countries I've mentioned, and then the rest we have some Guatemalans currently in the school. We have, as I said, from all over Europe, Latvia, Bratislava, Italy, Spain. We've got students from Japan. We've got Chinese students. So we do have a very, very diverse and even split. A lot from the Middle East as well, Turkey, UAE, etc. as well. So we have students from all over the world, and it's a fairly balanced mix. There isn't, apart from the 35% Germans, but they have got international backgrounds, there isn't really a dominant country that comes.
Great. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Can students start at different times of the academic year, and if so, when?
We're at the moment, because this is a new project for us, we are trying to get the students in for the start of the International Baccalaureate Diploma, which starts in August and then runs through for 2 academic years. As we've said, this year we are aiming to be slightly flexible and maybe look at a September or October start at the latest for them, where they would slot into the program. But at the moment, we are not offering access courses or short courses or anything like that. It's something we hope to offer in the future, but at the moment we're not in that situation to offer it. So the answer would be, at the moment, no. The intention would be you would be there in grade 11 for the start of the International Baccalaureate program.
Okay, and finally, what opportunities are there once I finish at school in Bremen?
As I've said in the presentation, we have a very close partnership with Jacobs University, which is the private university in Bremen. All their lectures are in English, so there is no German requirement to get in, as there would be for some of the German universities. The full partnership with them means that our students would be offered a scholarship or discount on their normal fees based on our school fees, and we are looking to develop this. They basically, as long as you get the diploma points they need, will guarantee you a place at Jacobs. Having said that, linked to that, we have students regularly going to the Netherlands, UK, Australia, New Zealand, other universities around the world in English-speaking countries. There is a basic German proficiency level to get into the German state universities. One thing I haven't mentioned, which I probably should have done, so I'll say it now, is during your time here for the students at the boarding house, we will run basic German courses, so that students will get a 2-year introduction to the German language, as well as their studies for the 6 IB subjects they choose.
Okay, brilliant. Well, that was the end of the Q&A questions. If you do have any more questions, please do add the questions to the email at the bottom of the screen there. Is there any last closing words for you, Jamie?
From me, no. Thank you all for listening. This has been my first experience doing it. I've really enjoyed it. I hope I haven't bored you or some of you are falling asleep, and I hope that you really do seriously consider coming to Germany and Bremen to study. It is a wonderful city. It's a wonderful place to come. I came 2 years ago. I brought my family. We're intending to stay. All I can do is recommend it as a place to come and study. So please, if you have got any queries, email admissions@IS Bremen. Mrs. Krishna, who is our admissions officer, will be more than happy to talk to you, and she will email you back as quickly as she can to answer any queries.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you, obviously, for participating, to all the students, and of course to you for presenting a brilliant presentation. Jamie, well done on your first webinar. And other than that, all I can say is please do check out viva-mundo.com and sign up to our newsletter if you want to find out more about any more international schools. So yeah, I think have a great day, and brilliant. Thank you for attending. Bye.